We will start also with a very interesting presentation on a very new topic regarding the scholarship program that IPCC will establish in this year. And I give the floor to Mrs. Brenda Abrar Milani. She was dealing with this program for the last year. So please, the floor is 6 months, okay? And let's hear what's new in this field.
So, distinguished guests, organizers of this wonderful meeting, and ladies and gentlemen, I feel very pleased and honored to be addressing you in Belgrade and in this academic institution, the Faculty of Law, mainly for two reasons. The first one is a very personal reason. Many years ago, when I was still a little girl, I won't say how many years, my family and I used to drive past Belgrade on our way from France to Iran every summer holiday. And at that time, of course, Belgrade was the capital city of a larger country. You have now multiplied, as it is said in the Bible. And I'm very pleased to be back after so many years and witness the change, and then also meet with a representative of some of your newborn countries in the region. This is very interesting. Of course, it brings back also very happy family memories to mind. Second, well, I'm delighted to speak on behalf of the IPCC, which is the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, to you, distinguished audience. Let me extend my gratitude to the organizers of this meeting, and most particularly, I would like to thank OSA, the Austrian Science and Research Liaison Office in Ljubljana, and its very much appreciated director, whom you all know now, Miroslav Polzer. Miroslav Polzer has been really instrumental in getting us here. As you might be aware, the IPCC first is having its plenary meeting in Geneva, and we're very busy for that. And we're also very busy because we are undergoing a review by the IAC, the Inter-Academic Council, and the review has just started a couple of days ago. So I would also like to mention that Miro, as I very friendly call him here, has been helping us a lot with this in various ways and on different aspects of the implementation of this new IPCC scholarship program, which is the topic of my presentation here today. Before addressing this issue, let me remind you of two basic facts about the IPCC. First, as opposed to Luchka, who is here and who is a fully fledged IPCC member, I am not, regretfully. I'm not a scientist. I work for the very tiny, small team of the IPCC Secretariat, which is based in Geneva in the WMO building. It is about 10 staff, permanent staff, who are managing with the work of thousands of scientists. I must say, dedicated and silent scientists across the globe, and who do their work, I must insist here, on a totally voluntary basis. My second point is to remind you what the IPCC mandate is. It is not, as many, people probably not you, but I'd like to remind it, is not to do research and to make science. it is to undertake in a comprehensive and objective manner the assessment of all the existing scientific literature available on all the aspects of climate change anywhere around the globe. But it is also to facilitate and provide information to governments and therefore to the peoples of the world on realistic response strategies to address climate change. And in that sense, it is not an ivory tower institution only focusing on science, which is, of course, important for the sake of science. Its work goes beyond. Now, after the IPCC, and you're probably aware of that, was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in December 2007, jointly with Mr. Al Gore, its members consulted to see how best they could use the award money. The award money, their share of the award Nobel Prize money is $800,000. And so they wanted to see how best to use it in the spirit of the Nobel Prize, that is, in order to contribute somehow to peace and human security. Considering its mandate and its strength, the IPCC, it was decided to use this money to enhance the knowledge base in the least developed countries and all those countries that are most vulnerable to climate change. The means would be a scholarship program and building partnerships between universities and research institutions in those areas, partners to be drawn from the worldwide network of voluntary contributors to the IPCC work. The beneficiaries, the targets of this program are the youth, of course, and the youth exclusively from these most vulnerable areas of the world, creating opportunities for them to develop their knowledge, skills, and capacities. But also, indirectly, those vulnerable countries who would be thus enabled to better address the challenges posed by climate change, such as improving decision-making and planning and development planning, strengthening adaptation and disaster risk reduction, and so on. Before going further, I would like you to watch, us to watch together a very brief video that we prepared on this program with the kind assistance of one of our program's partner. Some of you might know him. His name is Yann Arthus Bertrand. He's a famous French photographer and environment filmmaker. He released his famous environment film on the 5th of June, last 5th of June, called Home. And he helped us on, it's a very short, brief video, and we'll go on later. Thank you. So you see, the IPCC is embarking now with this new scholarship program on a very new task, a mandate. It's not its traditional mandate. It's not scientific. It's not assessment. It's education for the first time. And of course, it wants to contribute very humbly to this because, of course, the IPCC is not mandated for this. So we have a lot of lessons learning to do. And I'm very happy to be here with so many educators and experts in the field of education, and I'm really looking forward to exchanging with you later on. Why the IPCC said that, did that, first to use its Nobel Peace money, it did not know what to do with it, and then essentially because in a number of countries, unfortunately, those that are going to be the most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change and are already vulnerable to them, there is not enough, or let's say very little capacity, scientific and in other areas also, to enable them to address what the impacts of climate change would be and how they might be able to adapt to them. So where does the program, the IPCC scholarship program, stands at the moment? The concept of the program was formally launched at Copenhagen last December 2009 as a concrete contribution to one of the four major political prerequisites to reach success in Copenhagen. Well, I don't know if we can say that Copenhagen reached success. However, our program is clearly one element of this prerequisite, which is clarity on how to generate support for mitigation and adaptation in developing countries. Second, the call for scholarship proposal is now almost ready. It has just been finalized. It still needs to be approved by the Bureau. And once this is done, it will be published on our website. And you are all welcome to look at it, to circulate it as widely as possible. For the first round of scholarships, the IPCC decided to start with a pilot phase of no more than 5 to 8 scholars for the first year, hoping that in the meantime it will find enough other financial partners to leverage the seed capital of $800,000. It has already been, we already have partners, financial partners and others, but this is not sufficient. The target which is aimed is 10 million to have a real strong program which is sustainable over the years and which could benefit to 35 students and more a year. All around the globe, of course, and particularly from those countries. Priority for this pilot phase will include research on climate processes on the impacts of climate change in the most vulnerable regions of the world, and the potential for adaptation, mitigation, and sustainable development. The proposal should focus first on the following fields of study: impacts of climate change on water, health and agriculture, disaster management, climate modeling and assessment of impacts of climate change, and adaptation and mitigation for different sectors, and assessment of economic costs and benefits, including co-benefits. Well, this is all for now. I'd be happy to answer your questions. I have a couple of brochures, and of course you will be able to go and look at it on our website by the end of the month, hopefully. The IPCC chair has a wonderful habit of ending its presentation by quoting Gandhi. I will do the same, if you allow me. Just one more minute. And I won't quote Gandhi, although I could, but I will quote another source of inspiration in matters of education and education of the girl child. It is a 19th century nobleman from Iran. His name is Baha'u'llah, and he's the founder of the Baha'i faith. And in one of his mystic poems, he says, "The great being says, regard man as a mine rich in gems of inestimable value. Education can alone cause it to reveal its treasures and enable mankind to benefit therefrom. The IPCC is very happy indeed to be able to contributing in that way, very modest way, to this most august human endeavor, which is education. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Brenda. So maybe a few questions, clarifications, maybe. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, this excellent presentation and this enthusiasm, what you were talking about, this junior fellowship program. And I'm wondering whether the countries have been already identified what you mean by developing world, and whether is there any chance for this region to get access for this scholarship? Because unfortunately, the Southeast European region is almost lost between the developing and developed world. They are more developed than the developing countries, and so you know what I mean.
Yes, thank you. This is important because I forgot to mention that, of course, why did we said that these were targeting youth from the countries most vulnerable to climate change, according to the IPCC standards. The IPCC has a privilege is to be aware on a global scale level of all the knowledge gaps in climate change. So it does include, of course, the LDCs, the least developed countries, but it does include also some countries which are developing or not. It may concern some other countries than the LDCs. And I think Lučka, for this area of the world, maybe Lučka would like to say something about that.
Well, I'm talking now without data, but as far as I can recollect, I think in this area, maybe the Albania would be the only country that would suit the criteria. But please don't take my, because I think that definition of the vulnerability is not just regarding to the climate change scenario which is going to happen, but also includes the concept of adaptive capacity. And adaptive capacity in the majority of countries is high. But as far as I remember, I think in Albania would be maybe the suitable candidate. I don't think that compared to that, other would qualify. But it's maybe too early to say that. Yeah.